Friday, the FDA approved the country's first gene editing treatment, Casgevy, for the patients with sickle cell disease. The approval comes about a decade after the discovery of CRISPR technology for editing human DNA. This is one of the first instances of its use in practice. Joining us right now, Dr. Scott Gottlieb, former FDA Commissioner, also, of course, on the board of Pfizer and Illumina, and a CNBC contributor. Good morning to you. How big a deal is this, and what should we take away, not just from what this drug is, but maybe others that may come from it?
Look, I think it's a watershed moment in particular because it's the first therapeutic based on the Cas9 gene editing system, the CRISPR-Cas9 system. As you said at the outset, the original paper describing that system and the fundamental discovery was published in the journal Science in the year 2011. In 2014, a company was founded, CRISPR Therapeutics, by Venrock with a $25 million Series A, followed by another Series B that same year, about $68 million. That included my venture capital firm, New Enterprise Associates. Vertex eventually licensed that compound and put it into clinical development in patients. And here we are just 11 years later, and we have a very effective therapeutic, or potentially very dramatic therapeutic, for patients suffering from sickle cell disease. That represents a tremendous quickening of the pace of progress from a fundamental discoveries to its translation to an effective drug in patients. And we're seeing that across the board when it comes to life sciences, a quickening between the time that it takes to go from a fundamental discovery to something that can affect patients.
So if you were to look out now at other drugs where CRISPR can be used meaningfully in the next 2 or 3 years based on where we were and what you've now seen, where's the greatest opportunity?
Look, I think the big opportunities when it comes to these gene therapy platforms in particular, and CRISPR-Cas9 could be used in the same places, in many of the same places that people are using lentiviral vectors to replace whole genes, are in these inherited pediatric disorders. And that's where they're being used by and large right now, diseases that are inherited where you have diseases that cause accruing disability in very young patients. Right. And I think in a time, we talked a lot about reimbursement, I think in a time when we have therapeutics that can quite literally alter someone's destiny, alter their life, and determine whether or not they're going to live a life with disability or one largely unencumbered, we need to make sure that access isn't just equitable, but timely. And so one of the concerns about this therapeutic and others in this category, these gene therapies more broadly, is that you're not going to see timely and equitable access across the market. Particularly state Medicaid plans may struggle to provide some of these therapies. Now, I don't think that's going to happen in this case when it comes to sickle cell disease. I think these companies have been working with state Medicaid plans for years now to get reimbursement in place. I think at least with the large states, you're going to see coverage get in place in a fairly timely fashion. But when it comes to other gene therapies, I think these state Medicaid plans are going to struggle. And there's things we could do from a policy standpoint to alleviate that. We need to be thinking about that.
Doctor, I want to pivot the conversation. Last week, there was a lot of big news that came out of CVS about how they're going to remake effectively their business model, how they sell drugs, what this looks like, how people get reimbursed. They're trying to level things out in some way. I think everyone's trying to make sense of what it really means. What does it mean, in your mind, for the consumer? What does it mean for the drug makers, just the entire sort of ecosystem?
Well, it means that the CVS and through their PBM and their health plans are going to now reimburse pharmacies based on what drugs actually cost, some measure of the acquisition cost of the drugs, what the pharmacies paid the wholesalers for the drugs, and not a reimbursement rate based on a formula of what the drugs were actually, what they're actually getting reimbursed by the drug companies, baking in some of the rebating. So I think it represents a move away from reliance on the rebating schemes and more of a just straightforward reimbursement scheme that pays the pharmacies some element of cost plus. So what it's going to mean for the patient at the pharmacy counter is a much more predictable experience. They're going to have a better understanding of what their drugs are going to pay, because what their drugs are going to cost, because they're just going to have to pay some element of what the acquisition cost was, which is more predictable in the marketplace. I think what it means for the health plans and the PBM, and CVS in particular, is that they're effectively discounting the value of those rebating schemes, because by not paying the pharmacies based on those contracts, they're saying those contracts aren't going to be as important anymore. I think they saw the writing on the wall. They recognized Congress was going to put downward pressure on their ability to extract those rebates. And so they're trying to take out of the system places where they're paying people based on those concessions,
right.
And ultimately tilt towards their pharmacies.
But what does it do to margin for CVS longer term? And by the way, do you imagine that everybody else tries to follow suit? I assume they're trying to protect the margin at some level.
Well, they're trying to improve the margin in the pharmacies. So this will create more predictable costs to the pharmacies. They're going to probably, in the long run, lose some of the margin on the rebating schemes that they were engaging in. But I think they recognize that anyway, because they're basically devaluing the value of those contracts by not paying pharmacies based on them. So this really is a tilt, in my view, towards the pharmacies, recognizing that the pharmacies could be potentially a bigger revenue driver. They can be getting more foot traffic in those pharmacies and create a competitive advantage for their pharmacies relative to others that don't pay based on cost plus and have less of a predictable relationship with patients. I think ultimately patients are the winner here. They'll probably pay more for certain drugs but less for others, but ultimately they're going to know what drugs are going to cost at the pharmacy counter and face fewer surprises. So that experience in the CVS pharmacy could be more predictable than going into another pharmacy that doesn't adopt these kinds of payment schemes. By the way, CVS is rolling this out not just to their own pharmacies, but all pharmacies. They're obligated to do that under federal contracting laws, but it's going to affect their own pharmacies first and foremost because they're going to be taking it up.